was sexually abused at 9 years of age by a family member.
I always thought that I could, nothing could stop me, you know. I always thought I could overpower my thoughts and just anxiety didn't exist.
Where I just wasn't happy, and you know, no one would have ever expected it from me. I never acted like it, but I'd wake up and I just wouldn't be happy. I
don't want to be here anymore. I want to end my life, which was a shock to her because she didn't realise how bad it was. But because on the outside I made it look like everything was fine. On the inside it was not.
He had cancer. He was someone who always liked a good time, and he was, I guess, in some ways a bit the same. He was a bit quiet, but have a few beers, and he could be quite a charming sort of person. And the time that I missed spending with him, I was always too busy.
I lost my brother to suicide. My life's changed completely from incontrollable outbursts of tears for no apparent reason.
Me and Dad, we didn't really get along very well up until he took his life.
And then half an hour goes past and my mate's girlfriend comes up to me saying, Shane just passed away.
It started deteriorating our family and he started abusing Mum. Not physically but mentally abusing Mum.
But deep down you know you've failed. So that was the hardest part.
We had a beautiful little boy. I was deployed on active service at the time in East Timor. I arrived and got told that he had passed away.
So my wife and my best friend going for it, my bed.
Yeah, I was just crying non-stop all the time.
Could not find happiness. I had no idea how to be happy or what to do. I thought my life was ending, and even, I'd think, driving down the highway, 100 k's an hour, 120, just hit the tree, just drive into it, just do it.
With the knife against my chest, I was just crying and crying and crying, like shaking. I'm actually starting to shake now, thinking about holding that knife against my chest and
sitting there and holding it. And by this stage, she was a shit.
I developed a lot of self-blame and what could I have done to help? I was always the biggest lad in the family, and I was just like, what could I have done to help?
From that very moment onwards, that changed my whole life.
I literally couldn't get out of bed. I felt so disconnected with myself and I felt so alone.
And I'm sure a lot of people go through the same sort of thoughts. Because if I do, I'm only one person, there's going to be other people that do it too, so.
I just knew that it was a way out, and I used to play with the thought of what would life be like without Blake?
Very suicidal. I live with the scars of that night all on my arms.
Most of the people around you misunderstand who you actually are. They judge you for the person that they see, and that's even harder.
I walked on the top of a bridge because enough was enough.
The mistakes, it feels like they're unforgivable.
Look at myself in the mirror and just pick out everything that I hated.
I'm grateful for every single one of them. It's made me the man I am today.
And it cost me a relationship because I snapped one day.
I've sort of punched first and then asked questions later.
Things I was going through in my early 20s is that I was making all these mistakes, but I wasn't thinking about them later.
Letting my mental health take over my life and using that as an excuse to do things.
I didn't give a shit whether I died or not, so we drank to excess, we took drugs, we partied, we did everything to an extreme.
The hardest part is to take ownership at the start.
Think about what you're leaving behind.
I started looking on Google what to do and how to be happy, and then I think that's when the happiness code come up, and I was just like, everything that was there was like, yes, that's what I want, that's what I want. And since that day, you know, my bad days have turned into bad moments. Bad hours have gone to bad minutes. You know.
Man Enough to me has come at the perfect time. There's a lot of other amazing organisations out there, but I believe that Man Enough's coming from the biggest focus is moving forward.
I guess essentially look at this like a footy club. You know, it's blokes being there for each other, helping each other out. At the end of the day, you know, when you're playing, your common goal is to try and win.
As men, we try and be staunch and you know, the provider and looking after everyone, but I think it's a big thing just to connect and be vulnerable.
Not in a way that is weak and just try and push it aside. Try and break it down and understand what's happened and how that has affected me and how strong of an individual I am to still be here today.
Like, I can't live like this anymore. I can't do it, and you know, I need to change.
The stigma has to go. This idea that mental health is some kind of taboo or some kind of, you know, mental health challenges or some kind of weakness or some bullshit like that. It's just not true. And I've been losing my shit in business, and I'm man enough.
I'm Heath. I'm an alcoholic, and I'm still man enough.
I'm Andrew, and I've made a shitload of mistakes, and I'm man enough.
I'm Blake, and I'm man enough.
I'm Matty. I've made a shitload of mistakes and I'm man enough.
I'm Jermaine, and I'm a proud Aboriginal ambassador for Man Enough.
Troy, we're stronger together, and I'm man enough.
I'm Rob, and I've got angry many times, and I'm man enough.
I'm Martin. I've been bullied in the workplace, and I'm man enough to speak.
I'm Matt, and I've thought about suicide many times, and I'm man enough.
I'm Leon. I was sexually assaulted, and I'm man enough to speak.